So as you guys on the channel are aware, I'm a very big Harry Potter fan. I'm actually thinking about adding Harry Potter and some manga books to my animation you guys see on screen because I'm that big of a fan of Harry Potter and manga as a whole, but especially Harry Potter. Like I love Harry Potter to death. I think it's a fantastic series. But as you guys are aware, J.K. Rowling is one of those people who are just constantly in the headlines, right? Whether by her own volition or whether she is put in the headlines because people are trying to cancel her. But the funny thing is, a lot of people think that trying to cancel somebody is actually going to be successful. And the ironic thing is, that's few and far between. Most times, when they try to cancel someone who's heavily loved, like J.K. Rowling, in the writing space, or someone like Andrew Tate, for example, or whatever the case may be, when they try to cancel people like that, those people end up being way more successful after the cancellation or the supposed cancellation than they were before the cancellation. It's ironic. And in this situation, we're talking about J.K. Rowling, that she recently admitted that her book sales actually went up after she was referenced to being canceled, and says that she hates safe spaces and more. So we're going to go into the article, guys. This one is from Bounding Into Comics. The link's in the description box below. It says Harry Potter novelist J.K. Rowling admits the book sales went up after she referenced being canceled and lampoons safe spaces and more. Harry Potter novelist J.K. Rowling recently admitted that her book sales increased after she referenced being canceled while also lampooning safe spaces and describing the current gender madness in the West as the most misogynistic period of her lifetime. Now, let's be very clear. I say this every single time, even though I'm a huge fan, okay? I'm a huge fan of J.K. Rowling and her works. I love her works in Harry Potter. However, J.K. Rowling is a major left-wing liberal lunatic, okay? She basically aligns with every single hardcore left-wing ideology there is out there, with the exception of one thing. And that one thing just happens to be the one thing you can't make fun of online. It happens to be the one thing you can't talk about online. It happens to be the one thing everybody wants to walk on eggshells when even referencing. It's ridiculous. And that one thing has to do with gender ideology or trans people. It has to do with that. And because she is extremely against it, she is constantly being canceled in the media. She is constantly being canceled on Twitter, online, whatever the case may be. Obviously, it does nothing for her because she's still going to be very successful. But that's because her one idea that she does not align with them, they want to cancel her nonstop. It says in a wide-ranging interview with Suzanne Moore on her Substack, Moore notes that this current period in J.K. Rowling's life is the most misogynistic period of her lifetime. Well, she's also a hardcore feminist, so she uses words like misogyny, okay? Just throwing that out there. Rowling expanded on this, telling Moore, if you'd have shown me when I was 18 what young girls would be dealing with now, what we'd all be dealing with, but particularly young girls, I would have been horrified. Because when you're 18, you assume this can only get better. Like, we've got these rights, and we got all these amazing women doing feminist analysis, and it will change. It really will change. By the time I'm my mother's age, I thought my daughters will have it so much easier, but now I think we've gone backwards. I think we're living through a nightmare. I would agree with that. I would agree that women are being extremely erased by this woke ideology that's going on with gender identity. I do agree that they are being erased because it's not affecting men in the slightest. If you guys notice, a lot of the stuff that's happening only affects females. It's just the truth. A lot of this stuff has to do with trans females. It doesn't have to do with trans males. Trans males basically go under the radar and nobody even talks about them half the time or at all. But everybody who's in the news happens to be a trans female. Government officials, sports stars, the entertainment people, it doesn't matter. It's always trans females, and there's a reason for that, and it's ridiculous. So let's go further into it. So it says she would later inform Moore about her dislike of ideologies during a brief discussion about feminism. I never stopped liking lipstick, but radical feminism is a very broad church. There were things in there that I wouldn't agree with. I don't like ideologies of any kind. I have never met an ideologue who wouldn't suppress a little bit of truth. But you're right. You pick your tribe, you chant the mantras, and you defend everything to the death. Even if logic has to be convoluted, she further detailed, you leave your brain at the door. Rowling then declared, I've been thinking about this so much over the last 5, maybe 10 years. The old definitions of left and right seem to have blurred so much. I feel we're currently waging a cultural war between what I would like to see as authoritarians and liberals, and those categories seem to me to cut across the old left and right divide, she explained. I'd agree with that too. So far, I'm agreeing with most of what she's saying. It says, while discussing backlash she's received for speaking out against transgender activism, Rowling admitted her book sales increased when she referred to herself as being canceled back in 2020. Rowling told Moore, the only time I've ever made reference to being canceled, my book sales went up. Why am I even laughing? I can't believe I'm saying these words, but you have to mock them. I do not consider myself canceled. And that's the thing, too. When it comes to cancellation attempts, if you don't consider yourself canceled, you're not going to be canceled at the end of the day. These people only go as far as Twitter. They think the entire world revolves around Twitter, and they think if they call for the cancellation of something that everybody in the world is going to want to join in and cancel this person. And like I said, that only works few and far between. And most of the time that it works, it usually involves some sort of governmental assistance. For some people, like, like I mentioned earlier, Andrew Tate and Mr. Jones, if you guys know who I'm referencing, those people were truly canceled in the public eye, but that's because government officials got involved and also major social media conglomerates all rallied together to ban those people all at one time. It says the Harry Potter author would go on to question the whole idea of a safe space as well. What is a safe space? For me, a safe space is not somewhere where I have to use the correct terms, or where I am not allowed to talk on my own life experience, or am I not allowed to profess a belief in biology? How is that a safe space for me? Of course not. Nor is it a safe space for many, many women. Rowling makes some solid points, especially her critique on safe spaces. However, she also errs on how she views the culture war as well as how to deal with her opponents by suggesting people mock them. First, the real cultural war is not a battle between authoritarians and liberals. As Peter Kreeft notes, the real enemy in the cultural war is demons, fallen angels, evil spirits. Oh, here we go. So this is going to get very religious. So I'm going to skip this part because, like I said, bounding into comics tends to get involved with that stuff, and I don't really want to. I don't really want to get involved. So we're going to skip that, and we're going to close out the video with this. J.K. Rowling as a whole is super left wing, okay? Or even she said that what used to be left and what used to be right has now been basically blurred. And that could be true to an extent. Now, there are certain ideologies that are guaranteed to be left, and there's certain ideologies that are guaranteed to be right. And for her, for J.K. Rowling, she still, to this day, falls majority left. Although I think she's starting to realize that she's starting to come a little bit to the center, probably. And that's what's probably making her so confused, because back in the day, she would consider herself a hardcore liberal, I would imagine. And now she's kind of confused as to the whole layout of the political landscape. But when it comes to her works, I am not surprised that she actually sold more after being referenced to being canceled. Because as I mentioned before, every time some major celebrity is coming out as supposedly canceled, all of a sudden they become way more successful. Look at Dave Chappelle, for example. Dave Chappelle was massively successful before he got canceled, and he got even more successful after he supposedly got canceled for the same exact reason. It's always those particular people. It's always that particular group of people that tries to go after other people. It's ridiculous. It's like you claim to want to be inclusive, you claim to just want to be accepted, yet the first person to attack others and try to get their lives destroyed. It really is quite sad, but I'm glad to see that J.K. Rowling is at least seeing success from the attempted cancellation, because anytime that happens, I consider that a win in my book. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy, and if you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought of today's story, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.